everybody. This is Scott Hudspath with Agent Mastermind, and man, do I have an exciting class for you guys. I have two special guests, dear friends of mine. First one, Michael Mann, dear friend of mine that I've been working with for, God, 5 or 6 years now, right?
Yeah, man, absolutely, yeah.
And we have the, I don't know, I'm just honored to be able to hang with this guy down at the War Room. We hang down in Florida. So he's been doing, our next guest is Michael J. Maher, who his third year in business has netted $1 million in income. He receives over 500 referrals per year and consistently has closed 150 deals the last 8 years in a row, and they're on the call with us today. If you have your Facebook open, your cell phone on, if you have anything that's going to distract you from this class, I highly recommend turn it off, stay with us, and Michael Mann, take it away, my brother.
Dude, Scotty, thank you so much, my friend. Like you said, we've been hanging out for a little while. I love getting together with you, your energy, freaking awesome, getting together with like-minded people. The cool part about who we have on the call here today, Michael J. Maher. Those stats that you just said, impressive in its own right. However, he gets and closes that much business by referral. He doesn't spend millions of dollars in marketing and the billboards and all this stuff. It's by referral. And the cool stuff that he's teaching here today, Michael, I'm so excited for you to be able to share this with the group. And I just want to let everybody know I've applied some of the stuff that you have taught. That you were teaching here today. Some of the stuff I've applied immediately while you were teaching it, and I was able to get referrals, and cool, I was able to give referrals. This stuff actually works, folks. Man, I'm so jacked. I'll stop talking. I'm just an honor to be on the call here with you. Michael, let's jump into it. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Wow, great introduction. Scott, Michael, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I know that today we're delivering a ton of value to thousands of real estate agents, mortgage professionals, and other professionals. And the very first thing I have to say is thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the value that you're bringing our industry, because it is so vital to get the word out that we can actually do business that aligns with our values. We can do business that feels good, where we don't have to sacrifice our values or sacrifice our feelings to do well in this business. And I want to just say thank you, first of all.
Absolutely, man. Honored to have you here, brother.
Oh, thank you. And so let's just jump right into it. I tend to be just a let's go type of person, so we're going to do it now. And all right, so here's the thing. I know that Scott and Michael mentioned that, hey, turn your phone off. And what I want you to do is I want you to get referrals today. I want you to get referrals today. I want you to get real-time referrals. This status right here will get you referrals. It is what we call the referral test status. So you can read, so I'm not necessarily going to read it all for you. I guess I will, because I guess there are some people who are just listening in. But my referral goal for the next 14 days is to give 10 referrals and receive 5 referrals. How can I help you or someone you know, question mark. I am here to help, ... The ellipsis at the end is important. It's a call to action, just so you know. So without the quotes, you need to post that on your Facebook status today. Over 500 referrals in the last 12 months at presentations where I spoke have been received because of this referral goal. I literally get an email a day or a Facebook message a day from someone who said, oh my God, I got a referral from posting the referral goal status. And it's like, they're all surprised. And I'm like, well, why not? You're referable, and this status shows that you're a giver and that referrals are important to you and you want and need referrals. So why wouldn't you get referrals? Period.
Love it.
So I'm not going to stay on this. If you haven't written this all the way down yet, this is really going to be a good practice for you, because I'm going to go quickly. And 3, 2, 1. So the first,
Michael, I don't know if it makes sense to blurt here very quickly, but when you taught me this when I was with you at your home, Then you said to put that on your Facebook post. To be honest with you, I thought, all right, come on, yeah, I'm going to put that out there, and maybe I'll get. But you saw it real time. I posted it out there. I was able to give 2 referrals and get 1 referral within an hour and a half of posting that on your page, and that was instantaneous. Folks, this stuff does work. It's silly. It's ridiculous how awesome it actually does work.
You know what's ridiculous is how ridiculously easy it is to get referrals when you know what to do. I think that's the biggest thing. Well, and just so you know, first you need to change your mindset about referrals. And I want you to know something about that today is that they say large doors swing on small hinges. And what they mean by that is it's the little things that make the big differences. And that is the absolute truth. Here's something I want you to write down if you're watching this, is success is not a 180-degree turn. Success is a 1-degree tweak. Success is not a 180-degree turn. Success is a 1-degree tweak. It's just doing something a little bit better. It's just doing something a little bit better. And that's what I want you to know is I'm not here to give you the magic pill. I'm not here to deliver that magic pill with a secret sauce on it. I am here to slightly change your mindset just a little bit, your activities about referrals just enough so that you get massive amounts of referrals. It's easier than you think to get referrals. So what we have to do is we have to unteach what you've been taught all your life and all of your sales career about some things about sales and referrals. And there are 4 quantity myths, and a lot of people have been to award things, and you've been to award things, and you really want to be first, and we have been thrown the quantity bone in our business so much that I am here to dispel 4 quantity myths. Then we're going to dispel the asking myth, the awards myth, and then the last one is we're going to dispel the hope myth. So we're going to jump right into this. So here are the 4 quantity myths that you have been told and people have been telling you for years, and I'm here to stop it. Stop it. Number 1, it's a numbers game. Number 2, you've heard bigger database is better database. You've heard that there's a magical number of touches. You have heard that everyone is equal. Well, let's first of all have this whole mindset. Instead of having the mindset of quantity, how can I blast 1,000 people? How can I blast 10,000 people? How can I have 10,000 friends on Facebook? How can I? Okay, I want you to quit thinking that way, right? I want you to go from quantity to quality. You're going to do everything at a quality level, right? So myth number 1, you've been told it's a numbers game. I'm here to tell you the truth. The truth in a service-based business, mortgage, real estate, it's a relationships game. You know this. In your heart of heart, you know that's the truth. But I'm not just going to tell you it's a relationships game. I mean, you guys have all been sitting around and people go, oh, it's all about relationships. But they never tell you, how do I go from relationships to getting referrals? Well, that's what I want to teach you, right? The first thing is I need to teach you a question that is going to blow the mind of your clients, your staff, and the other people that you network with. And the number 1 question I want you to internalize and write down is, how do I make this the biggest win for you? Mr. Seller, I know you're selling. How do I make this the biggest win for you? How do I make this move the biggest win for you? Then, Mr. Buyer, man, great market out there. Looks like things are going quickly. But let me ask you this first, before we even get going. How do I make this the biggest win for you? Staff, all right, you called this meeting. I respect that. But before I get into the meeting, let me ask you a question. How do I make this meeting the biggest win for you? Make it about them, and you both win. Do you realize that you're getting the exact answer on how to wow that person? When you make it a win about them, you have to realize that you both win. You win, they win. It is the classic win-win, right? Now, here's the thing, is don't worry about the numbers. So often we so worry about the numbers. But what we have to really think about is don't worry about the numbers, take care of the people. If you take care of the people, the numbers will take care of themselves. And you need to internalize that. Michael Mann has been living this, how do I make this the biggest win for you, and make it about them and you both win. So, Michael, what have you done in your business, or what's an aha or question that you have here?
Well, so as I'm sitting here listening to this again, it's not a numbers game, and that's something that I think we're drilled with so much in our business with teaching and coaching. It's not a numbers game. I've been mass marketing to the agents here in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania for many years, 2,000 agents, and there's only a small handful of agents that actually grasp and get the message. But what I was doing in the past, I was mass marketing to a lot of people, but not taking care of the people that were actually responding. So what I've done is I've totally flipped that around, and now I've focused on the smaller group of agents. Instead of 2,000, there's a 200 or 300, 10% that respond, engage, and now I focus more of my efforts on them and what I can do for them, as opposed to trying to blanket message to people who may or may not be receiving.
You know what? I love that. I love that.
I made it about the agents and how can I help you in your business. And like you said here, my business just seems to take care of itself. So, it's the same for agents with their clients. Make it about the clients, your listing, or your buyer's client, and the business just takes care of itself.
Perfect. So here's the next myth that you've been given is you've been told add 150, add 200, add 1,000, add an X number to your database, and you're going to get bigger results. Well, I'm here to tell you the truth. The truth is, the better the people in your database, the better your results. And you're like, holy cow, that makes a lot of sense. But that's not what you're taught. Here are the teaching points. The number one thing that you need to know about bigger is not better is that Professor Robin Dunbar has done a ton of research on the size of our neocortex, our brain, the part of our brain that makes us human. And what he has studied about the neocortex is that we are only able to have 150 great relationships at one time. 150. Please put that number in your notes. Dunbar's number will set you free. What's so cool about that is we try to have relationships with 1,500 people, but we can't. We physically, and the size of our brain says we cannot. We cannot. So we need to focus on what we call the Boost 150, and that is the 150 people who during 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. you're going to communicate with in such a way that it gets you referrals. And what's so beautiful about the number 150 is how manageable that makes it for you to know more about 150, right? Anything above 150, please write this down. Please internalize this and take it to heart. Is anything above 150 is chaos. Anything above 150 is chaos. The key is to know more about a few versus less about a lot. You need to know more about a few. And it goes back to now, okay, I only need to build 150 great relationships. And in fact, that's all I have to aspire to. That feeds us to the relationship scale. And how do we build these relationships to the point where they get into the referral zone? This scale is a life changer for some people. Because here's the deal. 0 is never met. 1 through 3 is no chemistry, and we've all met people like that, where it's just like, there's a mismatch of values, or it just comes off wrong. 4 through 7 is cordial and friendly. They're people that you like, they like you. Your 7, the 7 level could even be your best friend. An 8 is a client. A client is someone who has entrusted you with money. They've entrusted you with their financial future. A 9 is a champion, and for the sake of defining it for this session, a champion is anybody who's ever referred you one person. So anybody that's ever referred you is a champion. And then an ambassador. I mean, did you notice how my voice changed? Ambassadors are why I'm speaking to you today. It's why I have the life I have. It's why I'm so dang happy on a daily basis is my ambassadors. Ambassadors are people who refer you multiple pieces of business every single year. Every single year. So 0 through 10. But here's what's interesting, right? And just so you know, the 8, 9, and 10 is the referral zone. That is the referral zone. We want to keep our relationships in the 8, 9, 10 level. But you know what human nature says? Human nature says, well, I don't want to build the relationship that far. I don't want to build it that strong professionally or personally. What happens is when we meet someone, in fact, they top a hill, we are judging them in 7 seconds. Friend or foe. And don't feel guilty about it or anything like that. It happens through evolution. We had to be ready. If a person from another tribe topped the hill, and we had to immediately determine friend or foe. If it was a friend, then we ran out to them, embraced them, helped them carry the load. If it was a foe, then we had to arm ourselves, tell the whole tribe, and go to war, right? So what we do is we tend to build relationships up to where we know it's a 1 through 3 or a 4 through 7 relationship. We either know that we would have beer with them or we wouldn't. Well, the problem with those relationships is that they're homeostatic. There's no energy to them. It's like a teeter-totter with 2 people sitting on it that weigh the exact same amount. Well, how much energy is in that teeter-totter if you're both just sitting there? The answer is none. There's no energy. And that homeostatic relationship gets no referrals. What we have to do is build harmonic relationships. Harmonic is energy. And the way that we build harmonic relationships is I want you to imagine having a bag of money in your arms on that teeter-totter. All right, so you go down, right? Then what you do is you take that bag of money, which is a symbol for value, and you throw it to the other person at the other end of the teeter-totter, right? They catch it. What happens? They go down, and it propels you upward. By giving massive value to the other person, it propels you upward. It helps you achieve more of your goals. It helps you conquer more of your challenge. And then what happens to a good person, right? When you give massive value first by throwing the value over to them, they catch it and they fall and they fall and it propels you up. What is the natural instinct for people who have just gotten massive value? Well, their instinct is to
give it back.
Is to reciprocate, and they throw the money back up to you. You catch it, you go down, and the other person pops up. And a harmonic relationship is this exchange of value, and this teeter-totter is going up and down, up and down. This generosity leads to constant reciprocity. Generosity leads to reciprocity. And that's the reason I get a lot of referrals is because I have a lot of relationships that are in value exchange mode. We are exchanging value every single week, every single day, every single month. And that keeps my ambassadors and champions in the referral zone versus Lake Placid over here, right? And that's the beauty of Dunbar's number. Remember, you only have to do this with 150 people. That is liberating. That is freeing. God almighty, free at last, free at last. I only have to 150 relationships. So, Michael, man, what do you got to say about that?
Well, what I was just about to say right here is, so you're telling me, I've been in business for about 11 years. Got almost 2,000 closed clients in my database, and everything that I was taught is I got to market to those people on a monthly basis. I got to blast them postcards and emails and recipe cards and season's greetings and all that kind of stuff. man, what do I do with the other 1,850 people that are in my database? I mean, you were telling me to really just focus that down on 150 people. I know a couple people on the call here are going, but my database, that's my sacred that's my sacred tool. That's really only 150 people in your database.
So, yeah. So why do you have a database? What is a database? Why do you have a database?
It's just a collection of names of people that we've done business with or contacts that we've had. That's the problem, because I have a huge database, but if you're not mining it and you're not focusing on, you're not mining it. You're not mining it for those little nuggets of gold. When you told me to do that with the 150, I thought, oh my goodness, I have to give up. All of those, I have to give up all of those names that I've collected. It's kind of like I've kind of been like a hoarder. You know, I got all those boxes in the garage. You mean I have to clean out my garage? Well, I've never played with any of the stuff that I've had since I'm 9 years old. Get rid of it, man. Absolutely. Get the stuff that works. Get the stuff that get relational with the people that that are engaging. And man, that was liberating doing that exercise.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael Maher, I have a question if you don't mind. So, so if someone was like, dude, you killed it. The third year in business, you netted over $1 million in income. So how long would it take if all they did was focus on these ambassadors and putting 150 people as ambassadors into their database? How long could somebody get to your level if that's all they did was focus on the ambassadors and building that ambassador list of 150?
1 year.
1 year. 12 months.
Yeah. If they take this to heart and they master the relationship building to the point where they are educating the people they know that the way to reciprocate and thank them is through referrals, then I truly believe there's going to be somebody that gets 1,000 referrals in 1 year, and it's going to be one of my students. And they are going to be the example of exactly what and I'll tell you why, right? Is the difference now is social media, right? And when I was building this business, this was pre-Facebook and pre-Twitter. So what happened is this is all word of mouth by phone and some email. But now, instead of people telling 3 or 5 people about you, they can actually tell 300 in a matter of seconds. So the bottom line here is that it happens faster than people think. I think Michael Mann was even surprised, and he had read the book a couple of times and really immersed himself. And I think the big thing to really grasp here is drip on everyone, right? You're going to do a drip campaign of some sort to everything above and beyond the 150. But you're going to focus your energies this year on those 150. And you're going to find that some of those 150 aren't going to be in your 150 moving forward. But the key is to focus on the 150, and you're going to know very quickly what it takes for someone to be in your community of the 150. And Scott, one last thing before we got to jet. I know we got to get through 5 other myths here.
Yeah.
Is that it's one of those where you have to realize that every one of those 150 also know 150 people.
No
according
question.
to Dunbar's number and according to what event coordinators do for weddings and funerals is everyone knows 150. Well, 150 times 150 is 22,500 people.
Yeah.
So in the first 2 tiers of a 150-person database, there are 22,500 people who are impacted that you can get referrals from. And if only 10% of them are moving every year, which we all know it's more than that, but I always use the worst case scenario, 10%, that's 2,250 people who are moving every single year from that 150-person database. Every single year, 2,250 people are moving, and remember, that's people. So that's a potential of 4,500 transactions in a 150-person database at the worst case scenario, which is moving one every 10 years.
I'm so glad that came up because it's not just. I mean, I'm so glad this turned out the way it did because it's not just 150 ambassadors. It's 150 ambassadors with 150 friends, family, and coworkers that could potentially be referred to you if you do it right.
That's right. And letting them know that
22,500
you're there to
people is
help.
insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. So here's the other one. Uh-oh. Yep. Is Maher going here? Yes, I am. Oh no. Uh-oh. That's dogma, Maher. You are conquering and challenging dogma. We have been taught this forever. Myth number 3 is you should touch your database a certain amount of times. Here's the truth. It's the quality of the touches, not the quantity. It is not a quantity. It's not a certain amount. It is the quality.
Garbage doesn't work?
Garbage doesn't work. Here's the thing I want people to know. If it's an email or a postcard, it doesn't count as a touch. Just because you sent it doesn't mean they got it. Or more so, these are touches. It doesn't mean they felt it. And I guarantee they didn't feel a postcard. They didn't feel an email, right? So that's number 1. And here's the other thing that I want you to know is one phone call, and this is straight from the 7 levels of communication. One phone call overcomes 365 days of perceived indifference, which means they don't know that you care, right? And you can overcome them not knowing you care. You can show you care with one phone call in 1 year. It's one call is more powerful than 33 emails. One phone call.
So, Michael, if I get this right, and you know, I've been taught 30 touches, 33 touches a year. It does ingrain a memory into your client's brain. But what you're telling me here, though, the phone call. And this goes back to your pyramid, the informational zone and the influential zone. You're saying that it's more influential to have a quality touch, like a phone call or in-person meeting, than to do 33 touches and to pay however much it costs to market to your person for a year without the phone call or without the in-person meeting.
That's right. What we're saying is the top 4 levels of the pyramid are handwritten notes, phone calls, events and seminars, and one-on-one meetings. Those 4 are far more powerful touches than any email that you ever sent, right? As I said before, drip campaign on the ones outside the 150. But if you want to go from relationships to referrals, you are going to have to communicate at a higher level than email to go from relationships to referrals. Yeah, you may get a past client call you because you stayed in touch, but the bottom line there is you're not going to get referrals. You have a database for 2 reasons. It's to make sure past clients use you again, and the second thing is to get referrals. That's the only reason you have a database. So why don't we have a plan for how we communicate with our database to the point where the past clients for sure use us and the 150 refer us every single year. Right?
Michael, what would you say? What would you say to an agent or a loan officer that's on the call that says? Actually, let me ask you what you think about this thought process. I don't have time to get together and meet in person and call 150 of the people in my database. Would you say that they probably don't have time to do that because they're too busy marketing to the masses? It's like it's kind of like I can't afford to get an assistant, but the truth is you can't afford to get an assistant because you don't have one. So you don't have the time to get together with your 150 to make phone calls and in person because you're too busy mass marketing everywhere else, running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Would you say it's a true statement?
Advertising and mass marketing is the cost for being boring.
I love that.
You can either become more remarkable and more interested and interesting, or you can continue to mass market and pay the cost. You can pay the price. You know what? I have no problem with people who do mass marketing and advertising. They're just paying the cost, right? They're paying what they have to pay for not wanting to build relationships and being alone when they die.
Wow. Wow.
So,
that's a little profound.
So the bottom line is, I start with that question: is how many of your, how many people will be at your funeral is an interesting question. But here's an even better question: how many of your clients would attend your funeral?
Wow, man.
I think at this point 150 people will be there. What do you think?
You know what?
In 90 days, 150 people will be there.
Yeah, now be careful, because I didn't say how many of your clients would be the reason for your funeral. All right, so here's the other one. So we kind of touched on this a little bit, is myth number 4 is everyone is created equal. And here's the truth. Each person provides different value to your business. This is a corollary of the value rule, so what does this mean? The first thing that we should do is we need to take our database, or at the very least the Boost 150, and we need to grade our database with one criteria in mind. One, that's it. Referrals. So how often do they refer you, and what size are the referrals? Well, we need to grade our database with the categories I showed you earlier: ambassador, champion, friends and family, potential champions, and also somebody that you're going to drip on, right? So I'll go through those grades. So A+ is an ambassador who refers you multiple pieces of business every year. A is someone who's ever referred you, so that would be a champion. A B is a potential champion. They're someone you don't know if they would refer you or not. You would hope they would, and the thing is if you've never asked the "Are you the chosen one" script, the answer is you don't know, because they haven't referred you. So the fact of the matter is you don't know if they would refer you until you ask them the "Are you the chosen one" script. And then you have C.
Hey, Michael, real quick.
Yeah.
I have a testimonial for you, brother.
Yeah.
Somebody on the call posted your give, get referral statement.
Yeah.
Has already received a referral.
Woo! Hey,
15
listen,
minutes, brother.
Just so you know, I just want that person to know, no referral fee necessary. You do not need, you do not need to pay me a 25% or 30% referral fee. You just go do it, make it happen. So what, so that leads us to how do we determine who's going to be a great referral source or not? And so here's how I'm giving this to you. These two questions are like diamonds. They are truly diamonds for you. They are weapons in your arsenal, if you will. I hate that terminology because it's like we're going to war, but we're, love, not, make love, not war, right? And it's one of those. Here's the deal. Number one is when you ask somebody else, what are your goals? This is such a powerful question, because when you ask somebody what are your goals, the first thing that you're doing, please hear me out here, if they don't have goals, they most likely won't be one of your best referral sources. Ooh, are you telling me that just by asking another person what their goals are and they don't have one, they're probably not going to be a great referral source? That is yes. Those who have goals make better referral sources. That's the first thing you're going to get out of that, asking that question. Now, the second thing is, let's say they do have goals. They have goals. What do we instantly learn about the other person when they tell us their goal?
Whether they're driven or not.
Yeah. So the first thing is we understand their drive. We understand whether they're quote-unquote goal-oriented. Here's the other thing. The other thing you learn is what's important to them. What do they really care about? And when we understand what another person's goal is or are, or what's important to them, does that not give us a huge notch up when it comes to building the relationship?
Absolutely.
We now know that if we help them achieve this goal, we would be building that relationship at a higher level. So that is such a powerful question because it helps you determine whether someone's going to be in your Boost 150 or not. And we learn what's important to the person who we know we want to build a relationship with because they do have goals. Here's the third thing that you get from this question, and this is called conversation reciprocity. People will tend to ask you back the question that you ask them. So when you ask somebody, what are your goals, they tell you, you have a conversation about it, they are very likely to ask you, what are your goals? And that's where something you're going to learn a little later is that's where you need to have a referral goal. Now, the next question is so powerful. It's the Are You the Chosen One script. And this is, listen, out of curiosity, if a friend or neighbor was looking to sell their home, who would you recommend they call first? This is the Are You the Chosen One script. You're finding out whether you are the one they would refer or not.
Wow, talk about asking a good question to get a good answer.
Well, just notice
so let me clarify this, Michael Maher, if you don't mind. So if I have 150 ambassadors, and I call 150 of them and say, hey, Michael, if you were to sell your home, who would you recommend that I call? Right?
Be careful. So, and I want you to know, every word in the script that's on the screen right now is important. Every word. So if a friend or neighbor was looking to sell their home, don't put it on them, right? You don't want it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. And if a friend or neighbor was looking to sell their home, and notice the word home. Notice I used word friend, neighbor, and home. Do you see how that softens?
Very warm words.
Warm words,
That's
right?
awesome.
If a friend or neighbor was looking to sell their home, who would you recommend? And by the way, that's bad English, but you don't want to go with good English because then they're wondering if I used whom correctly or not. So you just go straight with it. So who would you recommend, not refer, you want to use the word recommend, and who would you recommend they call first? And first is a power word, right? When we ask them, who would you recommend they call first, it's who's first place in your mind when it comes to this recommendation. Okay? So they're going to answer that.
Clarification on that, because I think people read into that a little differently, and I'm glad you went over that in detail.
Yeah, my pleasure. And what's funny is I literally just got a referral from the owner of a limo company because I asked them this question. So
nice.
I literally just got this referral this week. So it's something that creates a referral conversation. But here's the number one thing: is knowing is always better than wondering. Knowing is always better than wondering. You're wondering if a lot of these people would refer you. In fact, some of you were hoping that they would refer you. But what if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you were first place? How much time, energy, effort, and money could you funnel into that relationship if you knew you were number one in that relationship? Right? And here's the thing I want people to know. Knowing is always better than wondering, especially when it's bad news. Right? You may be wondering, is he cheating on me? Well, trust me, knowing is always better than wondering. You may be thinking, how much money do I have in my account? Listen, knowing is always better than wondering. Always. Even if it's bad news. Knowing is always better than wondering.
Michael, one of the things that you point out here in this part that I love, I just want to jump in and dive in a little bit deeper. He said myth number one was everyone is created equal. Well, the story that I shared with you this weekend when we were together, everyone's created equal until we make a decision. We all have the same opportunity. The number one agent in the area who's selling 200 homes a year, they put their pants on the same way that we do. Everyone's created equal until they make a decision. And when you decide to adopt this method, you are deciding for a better future and for a better life. And the adverse is entirely true. When you decide not to, when you decide to ignore this or decide to get off the call and go back to the old way of doing things, you're deciding to have a mediocre life. And I'll tell you, concentrating on this boost 150 and bringing that massive value has been the best decision that I've ever made. And I say this all the time to you, but again, in public here with all these people, Michael, thank you for this. Thank you for doing this over and over and over again, because it's helped me decide to have a better business and a better life. So we're all created equal until you make a decision. Remember that.
Yeah, that's those are beautiful words. And you've made the transformation. You've gone from a quantity mindset to a quality mindset. And the reassurance that I want to put out to you and everybody else that's on this is quality will lead you to a quantity of quality. Do you want to have a quality of life? Well, focus on quality. And quality will lead you to a quantity of quality years in your life. So then I need to jump to the asking myth, and it's like, holy smokes. I mean, I can see you guys kind of like putting your fingertips on the side of your brain and then going and expanding your hands, because I've already blown several myths out of the water. And this is the mega myth, right? This is truly the myth that has been pervaded for years, and frankly, it pees me off. Here's the deal. You have been told you should ask for referrals. Okay? I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about the whole thought of going from selling to serving. People do not want to be sold. They want to be served. And just so you know, the root word of sales is salar. And salar, way back when, the root word is actually to serve. Sales began as serving. So go from the selling to serving mentality. So here's the myth. Yep, it is a myth. You should ask for referrals. That's the myth. Here's the truth. You should have more referral conversations. And you might think, well, what's the difference? Oh, it's only everything, right? Who is the focus when you ask for referrals? Who is that question really about?
Question's about them.
Yeah, it's a selfish question. And if you're a good person, unselfish, selfless, then you cannot ask for referrals. The truth is you should have more referral conversations. Well, let me ask you this. Who benefits from a conversation? What's different about a conversation than asking for referrals?
Two-way street.
Boom! So, first of all, please, no more asking for referrals. Here is the mindset shift that propelled me in my third year. This was something I just got an aha in the December before my third year. And my thought was, who would enjoy a referral conversation with me? Who would actually have an enjoyable referral conversation with me? Who speaks referral? Who thinks about referrals? Who, if we exchange referrals, it would benefit, right? So that goes into what professions would enjoy a referral conversation. Can you guys think of a couple of professions who speak the word of referral or would love referrals or talk about referrals?
Every single business on planet Earth. I mean, this is probably the most. I mean, Michael, this whole call is so important. But I think going from sales to serve people and like giving something of value without any expectations of getting it back. I'm telling you, I was just telling Vicky this. Like it's literally like a light switch going off when you change your whole mindset to how can I help you. Never expecting and really truly meaning it, the light switch goes off and the amount of referrals and people that want to work with you go through the roof. You can't handle it all.
Isn't that the truth? That rapidly becomes your challenge as you go from this problem of scarcity. I don't have enough business. I don't have enough referrals.
Right.
I don't have enough leads. I don't have enough life. Right.
Right.
And that's the problem of scarcity. And I wrote 7L for that person. And that's the thing is what happens when you implement the 7L system and what we teach in Boost is you go from that problem of scarcity very rapidly, you go to the problems of abundance. There's still problems, but I would choose the problems of abundance over scarcity.
No question.
Oh my gosh. When you have that problem of abundance, somebody should write a book about that and how to handle that problem.
Yeah.
You know what? And they should call it the fix. They should
call it the fix. That's a good idea.
What?
And that is the next book, brother. Is the fix.
Vicky said, "Call it hiring Vicky."
Exactly. So
well, that was just a quick shameless plug for Michael's next book that he's working on right now, actually.
What's the name? What's the name, just so I can write this down?
It's called The Fix.
The Fix. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Go from chaos to clarity, and it's about how to solve the problem of abundance and how to handle busyness. So the thing about the referral conversation part here is just realize that attorneys, doctors, salespeople, mortgage professionals, contractors, anybody in a service-based industry would love a referral conversation with you. And note that I didn't say the 9-to-5er, right? The 9-to-5er doesn't necessarily, the corporate mindset, right, doesn't necessarily want to have a referral conversation with you. And I want you to know it's okay. It's okay. You can concentrate and focus your energies on the professions who would enjoy a referral conversation, which, by the way, are those professions and industries that are most likely to refer you. And they have the behavioral style of people who are most likely to refer you. It's like self-selective. Not only are you having the conversations with the right people, they're the ones most likely to reciprocate and give you referrals. This is a huge mindset shift. So please, no more asking for referrals. The awards myth. So you should set transaction and volume goals. What? He is going to debunk that we should set transaction and volume goals? Well, here's the mindset. You need to go from awards to awakening, right? And what does that mean? We need to really, what that means is we need to awaken to what we really work for. Do you work for the awards, or do you work for people? Do you work to make a difference? Are you on a superhero's journey who is using their superpower of love, right? Or are you in it for the dust collectors? Because here's what happens, and trust me on this, is you eventually realize how empty those awards really are. And then you really fully appreciate what really matters in life, which are people. So here's the deal. The myth is you should set volume and transaction goals. Okay, I kind of cheated here. That yes, you should have transaction and volume goals, but more importantly, you need to set a referral goal. And I have to tell you, the referral goal is the hub of the wheel for getting referrals, how to go from relationship to referrals. The referral goal is everything. So I don't just tell you to set a referral goal, right? People tell you all the time, set a transaction goal, set a volume goal, and then double it. Oh, isn't that scary? and they do it just for the, the rise, and here's the thing. I'm going to tell you to set a referral goal, but I'm also going to tell you exactly how to set it. How's that feel? Right? How about if I give you the direction on this versus just telling you to set a referral goal? Here is how to set your referral goal. Here's an example. I give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals in 2014. That is a phenomenal goal. Notice that it is a SMART goal. SMART meaning S for specific, M for measurable, not miserable, measurable. A is for achievable or attainable. R is for relevant, very relevant. And T is for time bound. That goal is very time bound. This is not only a SMART goal, I truly believe this is the smartest business goal that you can have. Once you have established your referral goal, it becomes part of your conversation. You should share it everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, and somebody asks you, well, how's the market? Oh, you know what? The market is the market. And guess what? We're about 30% of our way to achieving our referral goal.
Your what?
Wow.
What? What's a referral goal? Yeah, I'm going to give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals in 2014. And we're about, I've given 30 referrals, and I've gotten 10 referrals so far this year.
Let me get this straight here. You're going to give twice as much as you expect to receive. Is that right?
You know what? So far in my career, what I've found is that I typically give 8 times as many referrals as I receive.
Woo!
Wow. Amazing, brother.
Realtors, this goal was made for you.
Mm.
When a buyer is referred to you, which happens, who do you refer it to? You refer them to a lender. You refer them to an inspector. Maybe 2 inspectors. You refer them to contractors. You refer them to warranty companies. You refer them to a title or a closing attorney. And when you close, you refer them to other contractors. So for every transaction that comes in, a realtor typically refers out 5 to 8 referrals. But guess what? We've never tracked it before. Can you imagine if the National Association of Realtors forced us to track our outgoing and incoming referrals, right? Can you imagine that when we publicized that the real number was 5 outgoing for every 1 incoming for a realtor?
Wow.
How different people would look at our industry? How different they would look at realtors in general? We are givers. We are massive, generous people. But guess what? We've never tracked it.
Wow.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Dude, that's deep. I don't know if you take a couple minutes and maybe rewind that later on in the recording, but that was deep, brother.
You know, I'm stuck on this awards to awakening thing because, you know, I've seen this in my business here. You know, I've hanging out with a lot of really cool people, Michael Maher, Scotty Hudspeth, you know, Carl White, and Marketing Animals. I've been hanging out with a lot of really, really cool people, and, you know, a lot of cool things have happened. I just got a plaque. My team bought me a plaque with the Mortgage Professional America Hot 100. I've made that list this year, which is neat. It's really cool. But, you know, a lot of people that are stuck on that award stuff can really get caught up into that. And believe me, I'm thankful and it's fun. But you know what was really cool the other day, Michael? I was telling you about the monthly dinner we were having,
Yep.
and one of the agents stood up and I asked him a question. I said, you know, on the realtor marketing platform that we're using together, how many transactions would you say you've closed from this system that we've been working together over the past 2.5 years? And, you know, after a little finger counting and stuff like that, the guy blurts out like 30 transactions in the last 2.5 years. And I got to tell you, that made me feel 10 times better than being featured in any magazine or featured on a call or featured as a speaker, only because I really provided massive value to that client. So the Awards to Awakening thing, man, it is refreshing. It is awesome. And internally, it is just, it's just awesome, man.
Well, and you're at that point in your career and in your life, right? You're going from success to significance. You're finding that success is how you define it, and the way that we define it is much more about making a difference and making an impact versus me, I, look what I did, look what I achieved. It is truly about having a significant impact on others, and that is what Go From Awards to Awakening is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, and hey, one other quick point about the last myth that you had up there. One of my loan officers here on the team yesterday just had a conversation, sat down with an agent, had a good conversation at the end. He asked your question. And the reason I want to say this is I don't want people to get discouraged when you ask, hey, if you had a friend, family member that was looking to buy or sell a home, who would you refer first? And the guy actually got upset with him and said, you know, it's not you. I don't want to work with you. And just because, you know, it wasn't a relation, it's a guy we've been chasing. He didn't want to work with us, and that's cool. But what I did is I taught my team to celebrate the no's, because at least now we know, and it's okay. It is absolutely okay. If you hear somebody that won't use you or doesn't want to work with you, that's okay. At least you know, and celebrate it, because now you can focus on somebody else who in your network will benefit. So don't let that be a discouragement.
150.
Yeah, man.
150.
Yeah. So we have the hope myth, right? And this is the last myth, and this is the truth, right? I mean, is that we need to learn and look at referral generation differently. Too often, people think that referrals happen by accident because they come out of nowhere, they're surprised by them, or whatever it may be. And here's the truth, right? Remember, hope is not a strategy. right? Hope is not a strategy. Hope waits, faith acts. And we want to go from hope to faith. And so myth number 7 is referrals happen by accident, but the truth is referrals happen with purpose, on purpose. They happen with intention, on intention. Be intentional with your business. And here's the teaching point. When I netted nearly $1 million in my 3rd year, I actually netted $986,000, just to be full disclosure. When I netted nearly $1 million in my 3rd year, I did not have a business plan. I did not have a marketing plan. And guess what? My degree is in business, marketing, and communications, which is crazy. Why would I not have a business plan or a marketing plan? I had a communication plan. And the communication plan fed my, once they became a client, to 90 days after they became a client, which is called the WOW referral system. And that taught me that you can almost predict who referrals are going to come from each and every month. But you can only do it if you have a communication plan and a WOW referral system. Your communication plan gets the referrals. The WOW referral system wows the referrals. And so here's my question to you. Somebody came to mind when I was going through this PowerPoint. There was somebody in your life, in your business, someone you know who really came to mind, and you need to call and you need to schedule a one-on-one with them. You need to get back into a harmonic relationship with this person instead of being back in the homeostatic where there's no motion, no movement. You need to get back into momentum with this person. I want you to write that name down. I want you to call them. I want you to meet with them. I want you to write them a power note or a handwritten note. Just do that for me. Notice I have a very easy call to action here, right? It's something you should do. You know you should do. It's done with purpose and on purpose, and you're just going to get back into momentum with this relationship. Call them, meet with them. I don't know what to say. You're going to know what to say. Follow up with a handwritten note. Tell me how it goes.
Referrals happen on purpose, with purpose. That's I had somebody the other day just ask me, what's the point of everything that we do? You know, what's the point of the information and the teaching? And it goes back to the other myth that you were talking about. The point is that I want to be significant in the people's lives that I touch, and by providing massive value. And you know what? My business is taking care of itself by the referrals that we've gotten from that. And that's been an on-purpose thing, the communication plan. I mean, so talk about the communication plan. I mean, you're talking about the people that are in your 150, how you're going to communicate with them.
That's right. So you're going to communicate differently with the people who have different values to your business. So your A-pluses are going to get a lot of your time, energy, effort, and money. The D's are going to get none. They're going to get a monthly drip campaign, period. That's it. Your B's, you are going to convert to an A or a C very quickly. You want to know. You're going to call them. You're going to ask the Are You the Chosen One script, and then you're going to know whether they're an A C, or should be deleted out of your database. So the fact of the matter is you're going to communicate with different people differently based on referrals, based on potential and given referral business.
So also, somebody would like you to repeat this. The SMART acronym was awesome. What was the? Okay. What did SMART stand for?
Well, the first thing that person needs to remember is the smartest goal in the world is a referral goal for a business. So you've got to have a referral goal that's set in the way that I give twice as many referrals as I receive in a certain time period, which makes it a SMART goal, which is SMART is specific. Your goals need to be specific. The more specific they are, the more your reticular activating system and the more the universe works for you to help you achieve your goal. Your goal needs to be measurable. If you don't measure it, I mean, I have people come up and they go, well, you know, I want to golf more this year. And I go, well, how much did you golf last year? Right. He's like, I don't know. And he goes, I don't know. And I'm like, well, how do you know if you're going to golf more this year if you didn't track how much you golf? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, maybe we should set this goal and set it measurably so you can measure it. And then A is attainable or achievable. And it needs to be attainable and stretch, right? What is an attainable goal? And just so you know, I want people to think about this. If you set your goal as I will give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals, well, let's say you work 50 weeks of the year. So I'm giving you 2 weeks off, which is probably more than a lot of you have had in 10 years. But the bottom line is 50 weeks. That means that every week you will refer out 2 people and receive 1 referral. Now, who can't do that? Think about that goal. That goal is so powerful. I will give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals, but it's only giving 2 and receiving 1 per week. But in many ways, that would absolutely boost somebody's business right through the roof if they got 50 incoming referrals.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Wow. Hey,
ton of questions, and I know we're way overdue, and I know you got to go, so I appreciate it. So can you give us a little glimpse of next week? What is next week? What are we going to cover next week? Some bullet points?
Yeah. So what we're going to cover next week is my legacy strategy. It is my #1 way that I get referrals. I do it every single morning, even now when I live in Atlanta and my team functions in Kansas City. But it is the one thing I will never give up. And honestly, this same strategy executed in book sales helped 7L become a #1 international bestseller. It has helped 7L be #1 on Amazon.com's real estate category 8 times and #1 5 times in the customer service category, all because of this one strategy. You'll learn the #1 reason you don't get a referral from every single person you know, and how do we conquer that? And then also we're going to tell you why you don't get a second referral from every single referral source, and I'm going to show you how to conquer that. And we're going to finally wrap it up by learning what to say to get referrals. And that's next week.
Awesome, brother. Awesome.
That is absolutely cool. Absolutely.
Sounds good. Hey, Michael Maher, I can't thank you enough. I got so many. Vicky and I are just sitting here like we got 2 pages, if not 3 pages of notes, and dude, it's so nice to hang out with like-minded people who believe in giving and knowing that if you give the right way and it's truly a part of your demeanor, that it comes back threefold. So I appreciate you being here and sharing that with us. I can't wait to hear the class next week. It's going to be probably right up my alley because I live, eat, and breathe helping as many other people as I can to be successful, and it's just amazing how it comes back. So, Michael, man, thank you so much for setting this up and hooking us up with Michael Maher. I appreciate both you guys more than you will ever know. Michael Maher, I can't wait to meet you. I'll definitely make a special trip out wherever you're at doing an event or something so we can shake hands personally.
Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Allentown, Pennsylvania it is. All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
I love it.
Right,
Scott, Michael, thank you so much for your time today and delivering the value that you do to the industry. And I'm really looking forward to next week and going through this strategy. It's gonna blow some people's mind.
Absolutely, man. Thanks so much, everybody. Same time, same place next week, and we will see you right here.
Woo! See you next week, guys.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.